You're like New York in the sunshine. I'm a fool, yeah. I got my love blind and ooh, yeah. Got my heart out and it's covered in gold. Like moonlight over Hollywood and it's cool, yeah. 'Cause you know it's good, oh baby. We'll never get old. Down in Cali, driving around with my baby. Top drops and raindrops, motion got me all faded. My heart got me going all crazy. We'll be rocking it right, yeah. Heading down Cali, driving round with my baby. Top drops and raindrops, motion got me all faded. My heart got me going all crazy, and I won't be walking away. Yeah, New York in the sunshine. I'm a fool, yeah. I got my love blind and ooh, yeah. Got my heart out and it's covered in gold. Like moonlight over Hollywood and it's cool, yeah. 'Cause you know it's good, oh baby. We'll never get old. You got it going on, I'll be there in a heartbeat. Tell me your favorite song, I'll put it on repeat. I could wait for you forever, through the storms or any weather. Yeah, you're like New York in the sunshine. I'm a fool, yeah. I got my love blind and ooh, yeah. Got my heart out and it's covered in gold. Like moonlight over Hollywood and it's cool, yeah. 'Cause you know it's good, oh baby. We'll never get old. Down in Cali, driving round with my baby. Top drops and raindrops, motion got me all faded. My heart got me going all crazy. We'll be rocking it right, yeah.
Well, good evening, folks. Hope yous are all doing well. Hope yous are nice and warm and cosy. I've been outside today and it's freezing, so still trying to get a heat in me. But glad for us all, we have a hot show in front of us this evening. I can't do it myself though. Mr. Boona and Mr. Matthew, are yous both there?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, happy people.
I'm glad yous are doing well. Well, let's just introduce our two top guests this evening, shall we? Because that's what everyone's here for. Nobody gives two shits about us three. Welcome to that FPL Lounge. As you know, we've interviewed some of the top creators known in our FPL circles and a lot more coming in the future. But recently, Mr. Boona has been chipping into like the top 100 and etc. and been getting a few interviews lined up. As you know, we've interviewed the current world number 1 in FPL. We've also interviewed the world number 3, number 8, and now we've got another 2 top 100 FPL managers with us this evening. I can't wait. So let's get to know Mr. FPL Texan and FPL Adam to the studio. Sit back, relax. We shall hopefully get some insight on how we can improve our ranks, take some notes, get some strategies, and let's just pick their FPL brains, shall we? Good evening, FPL Texan and FPL Adam. How yous both doing, lads?
Hey, Lam.
Yeah, doing
Thanks for
great,
having me
how are
on.
Not a problem. He's all raring to go for this.
Definitely.
Yeah, should be good.
Hope you've got a drink ready, because there's a pile of questions here.
Go
Boona
for it.
or Matthew, do you want to just kick things off?
Yeah, go on, Matt.
I will say hello to some people in the chat. We got
Okay.
Pingu in the chat. We got Nihao. We got Kurt. We got this guy called Boona. Who the fuck is he? We got Nasty Balls, Sam. We've got quite a bit in the chat. I like this name though, Sinister Potato.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant name.
We've got Christian Latham in the chat saying FPL Texan, I love you.
Oh,
Oh, you got a fanboy Texan.
jeez, old Texan. You got love in
That's
the
one of
chat.
my friends. That's
Love-
one of my friends.
Oh, okay, loving the chat already. So I suppose, Matthew, Matt, to kind of kick things off, I suppose we better get to know the two of them a little bit better, eh?
I.
Go for it.
Do you want
Absolutely. So,
God, Boona, you asked a question.
being so high up in the ranks, how do you guys feel currently, to be honest? Like, do you feel any sort of pressure?
It's a bit weird. Like as I said, I wasn't really expecting to be high up. I guess no one is, but definitely a bit more pressure. But it's fun. Like you log on to FPL and you see like a 2-digit rank. It's yeah, it's nice to see.
See, I just can't imagine myself ever getting to see that.
I didn't think I would either.
What about you, Texan? Are you nosebleeding up there in the high ranks of FPL?
Yeah, it's strange, you know, like just like the change in rank is really weird. Like you go up like 5 places, but it's like a 20% rank increase. So you're like, well, that's good, but it seems not good, you know?
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I suppose just to kind of try and get to know you a little bit better before we start diving and picking your brains about all things FPL. So, first of all, I suppose, Adam, we'll start with yourself. Who is FPL Adam? What are you getting up to when you're not nosebleeding at the high ranks of FPL, mate?
So I finished uni about 3 years ago. I studied Chinese and business,
Nice.
and I've been working full time ever since. For the last year, I've been working from home, which is
Does that
same
like,
as a lot
so,
of people at
so
the
you're
moment.
working in a Chinese restaurant now then, if it was Chinese in business?
No. I actually just work in finance. It's nothing to do with Chinese at the moment.
Oh, okay, that's
But I did
cool.
spend a year there though, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is,
Over
yeah.
in China.
Oh, that's cool. So you're fluent, are you?
No, I wish. I can speak bits.
Good stuff, good stuff. So,
yeah.
just finding your way in the world that is working life.
Yeah. No, I love sports. I've always been a sports fan. Football and running. Actually, when I was growing up, I did a lot of running.
All right, yep.
Yeah, and like especially this year with the pandemic, I've watched a lot of football.
Yes.
I guess that's why I've been so into the FPL.
Excelente. And what about yourself, Texan? What are you up to when you're not nosebleeding high up in the FPL ranks?
Yeah, so I'm still in university. I'm a graduate student at the moment studying
Excellent.
mechanical engineering.
Oh, okay, good stuff.
Yep.
So
That's
lots
pretty much what I do.
So similarly, have you got a lot of spare time on your hands? And that's why, and that's how you're nosebleeding now.
I would say so because like all our classes are online at home, so I don't really have to travel back and forth. So I
Okay.
just kind of hang out and do schoolwork or check the FPL stats.
Yeah, no. Nice one, thanking you. But no, Matt, go on then, dive in. Let's get to pick their FPL brains a little bit, shall we?
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got a quick question. It's one we ask all our guests, and it's what type of manager would you say you were? Are you more maverick or are you more steady eddies? Slow and steady wins the race kind of thing.
Mind there's two, who you asking?
Yeah, I'll go first, I guess. I'd say a bit of a boring answer, but definitely in between. Like,
Okay.
I'm not too fond of taking too many hits, but at the same time, I'd be looking usually at the short-term fixtures and trying to target them, and
Okay.
yeah, just trying to make sure I have players that I think will do well short-term and not being too worried about transfers like in the long term.
So how far? Because we get asked this quite a lot, actually. To be honest, how far in advance would you say, Adam, you're kind of planning? I know you're
I'd
saying that
say
you're not taking hits, so I'm assuming
4 to
you're
6
rolling.
weeks, I'd say.
Right. Okay. So that's your short window then. Is 4 to 6 weeks in the future.
Yeah.
And do your best.
That's
there.
actually not that short, to be fair. That's pretty good.
And what about yourself, Texan? As Matt was saying, are you maverick? Are you a bit a slow player? How would you describe your FPL style?
Sure. Yeah, I would say like a kind of a combination of both. I've taken like 9 or 10 hits this season, so I'm not really afraid to take the hits.
Okay.
But
Finally.
At the same way, yeah. But at the same time, I don't really get too crazy with the captain selections. I kind of just, I think I've only picked like 3 different players as captain this season, so I just kind of
that's
stay with
interesting.
the common are most likely to do well. I usually pick Bruno, Salah, Kane, or De Bruyne. So
Ah, right, okay, that's interesting then, because we've never really, even although we've interviewed, as you know, like Ola, for example, last week, that was something that we never, I don't think we actually asked him that question directly, but that's interesting to hear that you're not, like, I suppose, giving yourself any headaches anywhere, you know, you're just sticking to, like, the kind of, who's got the best fixture out of those 3-4 players, and then just, that's where your armband goes.
What's
Yeah,
your
definitely.
thought process behind keeping, a small group of captaincy options? Is it generally those are the players that you trust, or like, do you play it safe, and like, does effective ownership kind of come into your thinking?
yeah, I think it's a combination of all 3. I think effective ownership definitely for this week. I thought that definitely Bruno would be the highest, so I went with Bruno. But I think for me, captain wise, I just stay with those couple players because I think that in any game they could do well.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say that Bruno couldn't score every game. I think
Yeah.
it's definitely doable in any scenario.
Interesting there that you're saying that you've taken about 10 hits. I mean, I'll hold my hands up straight away. Buna and I and Matt now and again are quite a bit away from 10 hits, I will say, this season, as we are most seasons. But out of everyone that we've spoken to, Buna, that's definitely the most hits someone's taken that
Yeah,
high
I've
up.
only taken 12, so I'm almost on Texan's level. You speak for yourself, mate. I'm doing well.
And what about yourself, Adam, then? You know how, like, so Texan's saying there that he kind of keeps things down to, say, 3 or 4 kind of key players to put the armband on. Are you similar, or how do you kind of approach your captain?
I'd say yeah, for the most part for this season I've stuck to the big hitters. Salah, Bruno, Kane. Actually, last week I kind of went off the norm and I went for Rashford.
Okay.
I guess partly just to try something different. I knew Bruno was going to be high ownership, and my reason behind that was when Pogba plays, Bruno hasn't been as good.
Yes.
So I said I'd just try something different, and Rashford seemed good in the previous game.
Yeah.
But that was probably the first captain punt, if you want to call it, that I've taken this year.
Yeah.
And
Bruno.
Pogba's now out for a few weeks, so
Oh, is he?
I guess
Yeah.
that makes
I think that makes
he's got an
Bruno.
injury, so that makes Bruno an unbelievable captaincy option for not just this week, for the next 2 or 3 games. On that note, without going into too much FPL detail so early on, but the dilemma a lot of people are going to have is whether to captain a double game week player or Bruno Fernandes, who plays West Brom away, where they're really, really shit. That kind of thing. Where's your head at on that conundrum? I'll go to Texan first.
Yeah, definitely. I'm undecided. I definitely think I'm going to bring in a City mid this week, either Sterling or Gundogan. But I haven't decided which one yet. But I think that I'm going to lean towards captaining one of those two, just because they play 2 matches. and I'm not overly convinced in our Spurs defense, Buna, or Everton's, to be honest. So
Yeah. Plus Sterling. Did you say Sterling or Gundogan?
yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Sterling's also got a good record against both those teams, particularly us. If you cast your mind back to like that Champions League semi-final not too long ago, but even since then, I tell you what, I just also wanted to ask: is Foden's on your mind at all after the heroics of last night, or is he too much of a risk for you? Let's just say hypothetically, if he was benched midweek, would you be tempted at all? Because he's in absolutely scintillating form right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably not, just because Sterling and Gundogan one of them are going to take penalties. We just don't know which one. So I think that kind of pushes it over the edge for me.
Interesting. And what about you, Adam? Where's your head at regarding captaincy? And is Bruno in your thinking at all with his single game week, or are you?
No, he's definitely in my thinking. I think I'll more than likely go for a double game week, or just purely for the fact that they have 2 games, and I think over the 2 games I'm more likely to outscore someone who has only 1 game. But no, Bruno's definitely close. I wouldn't go for Foden myself. Just it seems no matter how well he plays, he just gets benched. So I think even if he doesn't play midweek, I wouldn't back him to play both games in the double. But I have Gundogan, so I think he's probably my first choice at the moment.
What about defenders? So, for example, you've got potential, and I'm just throwing these out here, but you potentially got Pope with an okay double game week, and then you've obviously got your City defenders, captaining a double game week player, but at the back. Is that something that you have done before, or something that you would do, or do you always favour the kind of attacking returns aspect? Texan, what are you saying?
If I was gonna do it, I would put it on Pope. To be honest, but like you said, I think I'm just gonna have to stick to an attacker just because it's Man City and they're in such great form at the moment.
Yeah,
I think that they're definitely gonna put in multiple goals.
Sure. Okay. And what about yourself, Adam? Would you?
Yeah, no, I agree. Just the upside when an attacker is much higher, there's a higher ceiling. So I think Pope's likely to get 1 out of 2 clean sheets, but even at that, he'd be struggling to break 10 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're going with an attacker, they get 2 attacking returns over the 2 games. That's beating that already.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Or even one, and like
even 1, yeah.
And they've hit 9 or 10 points. So
true.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, I was just wanting to. So I'm noticing now already there's a rake of questions, Matt, starting to come in Matt's chat. Just to let everyone know, I know Paulie's just posted a link there to our Discord, which is all free, by the way. You don't pay anything. But just to give you the opportunity, if you want to come into the studio and ask your question live to both Adam and Texan, feel free. You can pop in, just jump into the little waiting room. And one of us will drag you live on air, and you can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Just an option for you. Or if you're a little bit shy, just type it in, and Matt will get to you eventually.
Okay, so we're gonna take a little bit of a twist just before you go to that question. We're gonna switch it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I just want to talk about the situation with Mike Dean, guys. Something that
God, is that us now for another hour?
It doesn't matter. It's quite an important situation. But what was your take on that? Obviously, since then and I completely condemn this, but he's had death threats, like his family being threatened and all that. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's now asked for to not officiate at the weekend, but is happy still officiate in the FA Cup midweek. I think his decision making, and I stand by what I've said, I think it was absolutely ridiculous. And I do think he's an absolute attention-seeking motherfucker. But the death threats are a step too far. What's your take on that situation? We'll go to Adam first.
Well, I completely agree. Like, the decisions were wrong, but yeah, like, there's no way someone should be getting death threats just because of a decision they made in a football match. But yeah, no, his decision was like, it was never a red card. I don't know what he was looking at.
And on the wider conversation off VAR as well, do you not think it makes sense for us, the audience, to be able to listen in and hear the conversation these officials are having to see where they're at, like they do in other sports and other countries as well.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea. I'm not sure how helpful it would be. Like, I don't know if we get much. I don't know. Like, it's hard to know how much it would help. But yeah, no, I think they need to do something about it. Even if it was just the guys in the VAR room, just even hearing what they had to say, because we never hear anything from them.
No, definitely. I totally agree with you. Especially watching the Super Bowl last night, and their referees are all mic'd up, and even in the rugby as well, they're all mic'd up. Texan, what's your thoughts on that? You know, we spoke about it in length on our show on Sunday. You know, just about the whole Mike Dean situation, and just, I think as fans, if we were able to just hear what was being said, it might, I'm not saying it's going to make it better, but it might make things a little bit easier. What's your thoughts, Texan, on that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Like you said, in the NFL, they have that same thing where they have all the referees are mic'd up, and we can hear the replay room and their decisions right afterwards. Yeah, I definitely just want to echo if Phil Adams said that anyone giving death threats to someone is a sick individual. So
No, definitely.
Absolutely. If you want to call him a cunt, call him a cunt. I say it all the time. I'm not so much on Twitter anymore because people are a little bit sensitive on there, but that is what he is. He does love a bit of attention. But anyway, moving on. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Definitely.
Matt, you had a question.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a very interesting question from the Escapades in the chat, and please go follow them because they're a really good bunch of lads. It's like, FPL Texan must be the most boring question, but are you from Texas?
I thought you said he had an interesting question. What the
There's
hell?
interesting questions. That's just the first one on my list.
definitely. Yeah, so I'm not. I actually grew up in England.
Okay.
I grew up in Suffolk. My mom's English and my dad's American. He's in the military, but I've lived in Texas for the last about 15 years. So yeah.
And you've not lost that Suffolk accent.
I had it for about the first year we lived here, but I just kind of lost it eventually. My mom still has it, but not me, no.
So one of the kind of other questions that we like to ask our guests is just kind of a bit of a background, I suppose, Boona and Matt, on our guests and kind of how long you've been playing the game. I don't know if you listened back to when we interviewed like the world number 3 and 8 they were at the time. One of the guys, this was like pretty much his first season playing it. But what about yourself, Adam? How long have you been playing FPL? And what was your pre-season kind of tactics or aims, if you don't mind, for our audience and listeners?
Yeah, so I think it's my 10th or 11th year playing.
Okay.
There was 1 or 2 years in the middle that I didn't play, but I generally make a team most years. And to be honest, this is the first year I've taken it seriously. I know it's easy to say that, but yeah, at the start of the season, I made a team. I didn't think about it too much.
Okay.
I had an okay start, and I think it was game week 5. I decided to wildcard, and I didn't know what way I was going to go about it, so I just looked up some videos on YouTube, and that's kind of how I got into taking it a bit more seriously. I followed a few of the YouTube guys,
good stuff,
and went from there.
Out of interest, just for our audience, who is it that you like to follow? Who's giving you the best pointers?
I know everyone says it, but let's talk FPL.
Yep. Good old Andy.
FPL Mate.
Yep.
British guy, Simply FPL, I watch as well.
Oh yeah, yep.
Those 3 have been the main ones.
No, good stuff. Thanks very much for that. And Texan,
Llama, don't act like you've heard of them.
what?
Sorry?
So don't act like you've heard of them, Llama.
I've heard of them. And what about yourself, Texan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about yourself, Texan? How long have you been playing the game, and did you have a kind of approach to this season, hence why you're doing so well?
Yeah, definitely. So this is actually my first full season. I joined about game week 10 of last season.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and but I guess my approach for this season was I wanted to attack the fixtures at the start of the season and then wildcard early, right after them. So I started out, I had the Son Kane double up because they had a nice first 6 fixtures, and then same with Calvert-Lewin. So they kind of started me out strong, and then I think I wildcarded in like game week 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I brought in some the Aston Villa boys, which also propelled me up some more. I just kept going from there.
Interesting. I think that's pretty much everyone that's been top ranked did an early wildcard. Am I right in saying that, Bruno, Matt?
I think so, from the ones we've interviewed, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Do you two, Adam and Texan, what team do you support, and is there any team biased? Does it fall into your FPL decisions or not? We'll go with Adam first.
I support Man United.
Hey.
They're just I'd like to say no, but there definitely is a bit of bias. I have 3 United players in my team at the moment. I think I have for at least 1 or 2 for the whole season. So
it's not a bad position to be in into the next few games.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like I actually used my second wildcard already in game week 18, and I seen United had a good run after the double game week, so I doubled up on Bruno and Rashford.
Bruno. That was my thoughts. I've done the same.
Did you go with it?
Although Rashford's doing my head in, Adam, at the moment.
Yeah, he's
Why?
doing mine as well.
Yeah, he keeps missing chances.
Yeah.
I'd love to own
Rangers.
him for the next few games, though. Like the next 2 games, who is it?
West Brom and Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly. 2 brilliant games.
Yeah, I can't
So what-
take him out my team, but he's been doing my head in the last few game weeks, not gonna lie.
That's true. So what about you, Texan? Do you
Yeah,
have
I bet.
a team?
Yeah, I'm a Spurs fan like Buna.
Oh, God.
Oh,
sake.
jeez.
Done.
I definitely think there's some bias for me, especially for Harry Kane. It's very hard for me to take Harry Kane out of my team. The only reason he's not in my team right now is because he was injured, but I'm definitely going to get him back soon.
So you definitely have Spurs goggles on. Not as bad as Booner. He has his tattooed on his face, but
No,
But we'll-
oh, sorry, Matt.
you carry on. You carry.
Well, I was going to quickly just ask them both about smashing and passing, just because we never done it the last time, and I'm interested just to see if it changes at all if you're a high-ranked manager. So if you've listened to the show, you know what's about to happen. Adam, I'll ask the question, and I'll come to you first for your answer, and then Texan, I'll grab your answer, okay? See, the chat are guessing
go for
already,
it.
they know what's happening. So it's it's the final seconds of a Champions League final. You're through on goal, 1-on-1 with the keeper. However, just as you're about to lace your boot through the ball, you look out the corner of your eye and you see your strike partner standing there. Now, you know that if you pass to him, he's surely not going to miss because it's an open goal. The keeper's 1-on-1 with you. However, Adam and Texan, it's you that's got the ball at the feet. So what are you doing? Are you smashing it or are you passing it? Adam.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to lay myself down if I shot and missed, so
Oh,
I pass it.
oh, he's passing. Interesting.
Pass it.
That's
Get the
one
win.
so far.
And what about yourself, Tex? And what would you be doing, mate? Would you be smashing it or would you be passing it?
Well, I played center back, so I'm quite shit at shooting, so I'd probably pass it.
Boring. Boring.
But you got both of them wrong. He said you both were going to smash it.
So we've got an absolute rake, Boona. Thank you for helping me out today with me being out and about, etc. So there's a good few questions come in from the old Twitter sphere and Discord, etc. And Matt, I know you've been keeping an eye on the chat and stuff. So really, I'll hand it over to you boys and we'll kind of tic-tac between, I suppose, the Twitter sphere, etc. and also what's live happening now. And don't forget, folks, if you do want to come on, one of the moderators will pop the Discord link in the chat for you. And if you want to come in and ask it live, you're more than welcome to do so. Boona, you want to kick us off then with some of the Twitter sphere type questions?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to one of the more interesting questions that was asked by Tolu on Twitter, and we'll go to Texan first. We will ask you both the same question, but Tolu asks Texan, stats or eye test? Eye test when it comes to making decisions.
For me, I think it's a combination, but I would lean to more towards eye test for me personally. I just find that because I try to watch all the games, I just find that I kind of watch the games and kind of feel out who I think I like, and then I kind of use the stats as like a validation almost.
Got you.
Brilliant. Quite similar to me, in fact. What about yourself, Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't really look at the stats at all.
Oh, I like you too.
I watch a lot of football, so especially this year. So, just go by what I feel. I do watch some FPL YouTubers, and they use stats in their videos, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at it too closely.
See, that's dead interesting. And sorry, just before I kind of go into that, Dan, good evening. Welcome. Hope you're doing well, pal. Long time no speak. Yeah, I've said this before to Buna and Matt. Stats pickle my head. And I was doing well a few seasons ago. Not even as good as you guys, but I was 323 at one point for a few game weeks. And I thought, shit, I'm going to need to look at stats and get into this a lot more. And it just threw my season. Now, I'm not saying that happens. I was probably looking at them all wrong. But interestingly, starting to do this and speaking to, obviously, experts like yourselves and other creators, they only look at certain stats. They don't look at the whole lot of them. They only pick out kind of key areas that they're interested in. So, Adam, you've clearly said that the eye test's kind of where you go. Texan, do you look at stats at all, mate?
Yeah. I think my favorite stat for me is I like the key passes per match.
Right, okay.
For me, because especially for my midfielders, I'm really looking for the creativity midfielders. Currently I have like Grealish, Madison, like kind of like the creativity factors of each team. I just think that for me, the assist factor is what I focus on.
Okay, because I was kind of sometimes fell foul of being or having a player that seemed to be the assister of the assister, if that makes sense. But no, that's interesting that you do that with the key passes, right enough. Matthew? Oh, sorry, Bruno.
No, I was just going to say that's brilliant. And also, whilst everyone's in here at the moment, I just wanted to say if you are enjoying that stream, guys, firstly, thank you for joining, but please do consider supporting the channel with a quick like or subscribing to the channel. We're currently only 8 subscribers away from 700.
What?
So if we can hit that this evening, that'd be absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, mate, honestly.
That's crazy. That's crazy town. Matthew, what is happening in the chat, young man?
We've got Sheila in the chat asking a very interesting question, which is on all our minds. Would you guys do McCarthy to Pope rotating with Martinez or Kufau to Loughton? We'll go with Adam first. What would you do?
I think Pope's a better option than Loughton. I think it just depends on whether you need the funds elsewhere or not. But personally, I think I'd go for Pope.
What about you, Texan?
Yeah, I would also go Pope. I understand like Loughton has more. Obviously, he could get a goal or assist, but I just think the Pope has a tendency to rack up save points. I think that kind of pushes it over for me.
I know we'll probably get into your teams briefly in a bit, and you don't need to give anything away, by the way. There's no pressure on it. You don't need to say who you've brought in and all that type of jazz. But see, just heading into the next game week, how a few teams have got wee doubles sitting there. How many players do you think is about right to take into that double game week without cocking your whole team up? What do you think, Adam?
I think most people are going to have 5 or 6 for the next week. Like I think nearly everyone has Triple City. I can't really see. Well, you could go for Dina, but I think Calvert-Lewin from Everton is kind of the only other obvious option.
Okay. So you reckon about 5 or 6?
So I'd say 5 or 6 for that week, and then probably 2 or 3 for the week after with the one double.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with Leeds and that. And what about yourself, Tex? And how many are you planning on taking into the wee double that's happening?
For sure, yeah. Definitely. Right now I have 4. I haven't made transfers yet, but I definitely have minimum 5. I'm undecided if I want to take another hit and get 6.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Buna. No, Matt. Is it Buna? No, it's Buna. I'm finding out what way I'm tic-tacking here.
So 2 people, Davey P and Jack Ben Lamb, both asked this question. Like Lama said, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm sure you guys won't mind. Where's your head at currently for game week 24 and captaincy, chaps? We'll go to Adam first.
Straight for the jugular, Adam, eh? No messing about in your chat.
Yeah, and I think I briefly mentioned it earlier. I'm leaning towards Gundogan at the moment.
Okay.
And I think if I don't go for him, it'll be one of the United boys, probably Fernandes.
Cool. And the reasoning behind why Gundogan?
He just looks so good at the moment, and City look like can score 3+ goals against any team. So, yeah, just with the double game week, I think he's a good shout.
Yep. Quite like that
And
pick.
yourself, Texan?
Yeah, same thing for me. I thought I would throw in Sterling as well. I haven't decided which city midfielder I want to get yet. So,
Oh, you know which
One of the so either Gundogan and Sterling for you as well.
or Rashford if I don't pick one of them.
Oh,
Or not Rashford.
Interesting.
Sorry, Bruno. I'm sorry, Bruno.
Bruno.
I love
Yeah,
I love how our guests here are like really high up, and they're now both playing poker FPL with each other. I won't give you a cast iron one player.
Did you see
answer. I'll
what?
give
Did you
you
see
two
what
or
Ola
three.
did before? Did you see what Ola did on Twitter this game week?
No.
Did you guys see it?
I saw
did
that he
not.
benched all City.
Yeah, but he tweeted half an hour before the deadline saying, "This is my team," and then afterwards he was like, "Just joking, all 3 City are on my bench."
Well, that's what
Proper
you get.
poker, mate.
That's what you get
That's
to do.
it. You gotta.
Yeah, if you're number one in the world, you get to have a bit of a play about in that.
Yeah. Before we go over to Matt as well, a question from me: do you guys enjoy being? Obviously, you like being high up. That's the ultimate game. But do you guys enjoy being in a position where you can gain massive amounts of rank, or being that far up that you've more got to focus on maintaining rank?
Oh yeah, I like that question actually.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say it is a bit more enjoyable when you have more to gain.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
definitely started looking at ownership more since I've been more highly ranked, which I wouldn't really have done before.
Tell you what, Adam, if you want, right, I'll give you the pass to get into my FPL team. I'm just hovering about 990,000 or something, and we'll just swap details that way, mate. If that's what you enjoy, I'm more than happy for you to take that team on if you want.
I'll have a think about it.
Yeah, okay. And what about yourself, Texan?
Yeah, I think the climb up to the top 100 was more exciting for me than actually being in it, because I just think that seeing myself go up each time until I finally got there was really fun. And now it's kind of like just hold on, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Ola's interview that we did last week, but I think obviously Buna and Matt are there, so they can give you their opinion, I suppose. But like for me, what I found really enlightening about his approach was he's not going to defend his position that he's in. You know, like we thought it would be dead easy for him sitting where he is at number 1 to just look at the teams below him and almost cock block player moves, if that makes sense. Therefore, no one can actually really gain anything on him because he's blocking all the moves.
I don't think cock block was the word you're looking for, Lama.
Well,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
yeah, well, whatever it was. He was like, no, I've played it this way up until now, and that's the way I'm just going to continue with the rest of the season. Which I really thought was dead enlightening, as I say. And is that what you're now finding? Is it hard to now kind of progress? How are you finding it now? Adam, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, no, I was going to say about Ola, I think that's why he's such a lead. Like, was he 60 points ahead of second? I think that's
so,
why,
yeah.
if he had tried to kind of play the blocking game, I don't think he'd have such a lead at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. That's pretty much what he was saying, mate. Was that, you know, his fear was, I might look at second and third place, but not actually see what 4th, 5th, and 6th are doing, and the next thing they're overtaking me. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Tex? And I know you were saying there you much preferred getting yourself into the top 100. How are you going about to close out the season, do you think?
I'm not going to change anything that I've been doing. I'm going to stick to the initial plan. It's got me this far already. If it backfires, it is what it is. At the end of the day, still just having a good time, having some fun. So
no, cool. See, sorry, just on a quick one from myself. Starting with yourself, Texan. See, before when the season started, the first ball was kicked, etc. Did you have an end goal for the season? Like, did you set yourself like a kind of target? If I can get into such and such a rank, that's a really good season for me. Did you set yourself anything like that, or was it a case of I'm just going to go for it?
Yeah, my goal was top 10K, just because
Brilliant.
when you see like everyone in the community, they always talk about top 10K is kind of the benchmark for everyone, what they want to try and hit.
Yes.
So I just try and shoot for that or get close to it, and then it's kind of spiraled into top 100. So.
Cool. Yeah, so it just kind of led from there. And what about yourself, Adam? Were you similar? That kind of view?
My aim at the start of the season, there's a mini league at work, and top at Christmas and top at the end of the season get a day off work.
Oh,
So my aim was to win that.
Oh, I like that
Perfect.
prize.
That's
So-
a good prize.
Yeah, I think I've locked that down. I think so. But like
I
once
bet you have.
yeah,
Yeah.
after a few game weeks, I'd say same as Texan. Like top 10k is
Yeah.
widely considered a really good finish.
Oh, perfect. Good stuff. Good
So
stuff.
this leads in quite well with a 3-part question from one of our Discord regulars, John McEwen, who the first part I'll go to is, what are your end targets for this season? And I'm going to put a twist on it and say now that you're as far up as you are, what sort of finish would you be happy with?
Who are we going with, Texan?
We'll go with Texan first.
I think for me, I'm just trying to. I think top 50, I'd be happy with.
If you finish outside of the top 50, you're going to be pissed.
no, I'll be pissed. Maybe if I
That's
finish
what I mean. So
outside
what
the
sort
top
of rank?
1,000,
Finishing outside of what, top 1,000, you'd be pissed, yeah?
probably. Just I think that I kind of probably fucked it. So
Yeah. There we go. We got the real Texas coming out now. Adam, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'd say I'd be happy with top 100, realistically.
Excellent.
Anything outside the top 1,000 or 2,000 now, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to think that I could win it, but I think Ola's lead is so big, even to second place. Like, I don't
wait
think
a
it's...
minute, Adam. You don't need to be nice to him in that because he's been in. If you want to go for it. Just go. Just tell him. Put him straight.
I'll tell him, yeah.
But
I'll ask him if I can switch counts with him.
yeah. But no, you're right. He's certainly built himself up a little bit of a lead in that, which is fair play to him. But I mean,
He has.
listen,
he
it's
has,
not over
but
for
it's
you
not
guys.
insurmountable.
No? Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was
exactly.
just about to say.
It's not. I mean, look at me. If you're shit like me, I've seen people make 50, 60 points on me this game week, guys. I'm on 33 points as it stands.
I'm
We've
one of
seen
them.
teams in the 80s and 90s, so there's it's all to play for, yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I
And
definitely don't think it's over.
No, it's definitely not over. It's definitely not over. There's a lot of things that can change just yet, but it'd be good to also know. It was some. So who had asked a question about? So someone had asked. I think it was Sam, the guy that creates our amazing memes, which you guys will know who that is. He asks about the best time to use your wildcard. Now, if I'm correct in saying you've both used your wildcards already, your second wildcard.
I have not. No.
You've not. Okay, so you're probably the best person to answer this, Texan. But what's your strategy from here on in?
Well, my plan before a few weeks ago was to wild card in 25, then bench boost in 26. So I'm probably just going to stick to that.
Okay. That question also came from Jack MUFC Demon as well. It was the same
Brilliant.
question. Okay, so you're using it 25 to bench boost 26.
Yep.
And Adam, are you just juggling your free transfers?
Yeah, that's what I've got to do. I think if I still had it, I'd be dependent on what players I had, but I'd be tempted to save it till after the blank in 29 and try and attack the last few games.
Okay.
If my team was, if I thought it was good enough for the doubles coming up.
Yeah. Okay. The other question, I suppose, Boona, that John wants to ask is about hits in a single game week.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, what's the most points hit you've ever taken in a single game week in your FPL career?
This season, the most is one hit. Well, a -4.
Okay.
I think I think I've taken a -20 before in other years.
Jeez.
Yeah, there was definitely some years where I was quite low down and I wasn't taking it too seriously.
Okay.
Just taking,
What's gone
taking a
well
lot
for
of
you
hits.
this season, then, Adam? What's changed? Because you say
Honestly,
obviously this is the first season, and you've taken things seriously, right? But when a lot of people say
Yeah.
that, there's a reason why you're taking things more seriously, because you're probably playing better than you've done in previous seasons. No offense to previous seasons' history and stuff, but that will make a difference, right? Because you're more like, okay, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh, no,
play this a bit more
definitely.
seriously.
Definitely, but I've guess I've just been watching a lot of content, a lot of YouTube. Part of that is working from home. A lot of the time I just have something playing in the background, just listening to to videos or podcasts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whereas other years I wouldn't have done any of that.
Do you think that you can get too much though? Because there's so much content out there at the moment. Is it possible to overconsume, in your opinion?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just you can listen to as much things as you want, but at the end of the day it's what you take from it. Like you have to stick to your own stick to your gut, stick to your own opinion.
Absolutely. And friend of the show, Waz FPL, messaged me on Twitter about on WhatsApp just about 10 minutes ago, and he asked this question for both of you. Do you guys let FPL Twitter template affect your decisions? Or do you always go with your gut with transfers? Because you see certain players, they do everyone's raving about it, and it almost feels like every one of those players have got like 200% effective ownership. Does that affect your decision making at all? We'll go with Texan first on this one.
Not at all. Like for I guess one example would be the whole Antonio captaincy craze this past week. That never once interests me. So.
I hold my hands up. But then see hindsight, and we know that hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Definitely.
That wasn't a bad fixture to stick the armband on him, in my
opinion.
Oh,
no, not at all. Not at all.
But I did
for me, it's just hard for me not to go with someone like Bruno Fernandes. Like I said earlier, I usually stick to the main 3 or 4 guys. So
I've taken a lot of notes down so far already in this podcast, but that's certainly one of the ones that I'm going to circle is kind of, putting it down to say 3 or 4 players, and that's it, and don't go outside the box of that, because I think that is a sensible approach.
Do you mean regarding captaincy?
Yeah.
I think just on that note, it is a very sensible way of doing things, and why I also think it's really good, Lama, is with these players, they've proven it season and season again, right? That they can consistently return these points, and they're not just a flash in the pan. So we know that there's that consistency there and that reliability.
Yes. But like what Texan's saying, Texan and Adam, I suppose for yourself as well, we've spoken about this quite a lot on how we think Twitter can easily influence your head if you want it to in FPL. But as you say, Adam, at the end of the day, it's us ourselves that press the button on the transfer or where we put the captain's armband, whatever the case may be. But it's true, you have to kind of take a step back and think that they're only representing a small percentage of the 7 point whatever million are playing the game. So you're totally right, Texan, but I just need to get myself into that frame of mind. I can see it, but just don't take it on board.
Absolutely. Same question to you, Adam.
Yeah, about Twitter.
Yeah,
I actually only joined Twitter about a month ago. I hadn't used it before. Yeah. So I'm going to say no. But I mean, in the last few weeks, even just looking, it is mad how people jump on the bandwagons of players.
Yes.
And even the big accounts, like a couple 30,000-40,000 followers, that's still such a small percentage of the total player pool. So I think you just have to kind of take a step back and not necessarily go along with what people on Twitter are saying.
Yeah, exactly. How are the two of you going to deal with fame? I know that when Ola was on, well, we pre-recorded it, as you know, last week, and then we showed it as a premiere on Thursday or Friday, I think it was, lads, wasn't it?
Friday, I think.
Friday. Buna helped him boost up to about 3,000-4,000 followers on Twitter. So now he feels like he's got all these eyes on him. What about you two? You've only just joined a month ago, but you could go shooting up now because of how high ranked you are, because that's what happens with Twitter. Are you prepared for that? You alright with that?
I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, you sound like you'll be fine with it.
I don't know yet.
And what about yourself, Texan? Are you able to hold on to fame and keep your cool?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the Twitter account since about September. I've just consistently been growing as my rank's been growing as well. So my follower count.
Yeah.
But it's just more people asking questions and stuff now, which obviously I'm 100% fine with.
Okay,
but yeah, just more comments is all it really accounts to for me, I think.
Oh, that's not so bad then. So they're not doing what happens with Buna and folk just sliding in randomly into your DMs and stuff.
Oh, I don't. I only people I follow can. Can DM me.
Right. Okay, I've got you. Young Matthew, I know the chat has been scrolling because I've seen it out the corner of my eye. Whose question you wanting to ask the boys?
Well, Nihao asked that Twitter sphere question, so hopefully that's your answer, Nihao. And he comes in with a second question, and it is FPL Texan, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, or San Antonio Spurs?
Definitely San Antonio Spurs. I'm in San Antonio, so all day long Spurs.
And Spurs, because come on, Spurs in it. Come on, you Spurs. Let's have it. Up the Lily Whites.
Definitely.
We'll just stay in the chat, I think, the now, Matt, for a couple if you want, pal.
I gotta try and find them. I scroll. So if you can go for a
As well,
Twitter,
guys, if anyone wants to come and join us and ask a question to either Texan, for God's sake, Boona, Texan, or Adam, live on air, please feel free to jump in. Penguin, I'm looking at you. Waz, I'm looking at you.
Here's a quick one from Waz, actually. Probably quite an easy one for you to answer. He's got a quick question here. Ederson and Digne, or Pope and Diaz? Texan, what would you do there if you were Waz? Would you go Ederson and Digne, or Pope and Diaz?
I think Pope and Diaz. I think it's a bit more safer, just because. Well, I guess Digne could definitely do well, but the Man City fixture worries me.
Yes.
I definitely think they'll concede 1 or 2, so you're not going to get many points from that. So you're really banking on him doing well in Fulham.
Okay.
So I would go with Diaz and Pope.
So that's B. And what about yourself, Adam? It's Ederson.
Is this just for the next game week?
I think that's the way he's talking, pal. Yeah, Ederson and Digne, or B, Pope and Diaz.
B is definitely the safer pick. After Pep's comment the other day about Ederson possibly on penalties, I'd be kind of tempted with that. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but yeah, like Digne is definitely more likely to get attacking returns, so there's probably a bigger upside in going with him.
Yeah.
So I guess A, but either are quite good.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
I was going to say, you've got another one in the chat, Badman, and I think this is going to be a quite simple one. He goes, Rashford or J-Rod on a double? That's what his question is. We'll go to Adam first.
Yeah, it's close. If it wasn't for the double, I'd definitely pick Rashford. I'd say I'd still pick Rashford. He seems pretty good lately. And I wouldn't be 100% sure J-Rod's going to start both games.
That's true.
What about you, Texan? Would you go for the single or the doubler?
I think that if we knew J-Rod would definitely play both, I would lean towards J-Rod. I think that he could do very well against Fulham. I think that could be enough.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to ask something there, sorry, Buna, just about chips. Not like, do you take brown sauce or salt or anything like that. See with playing your chips, right? Because a few folk have asked me this on Twitter and slid into my DMs, and it's regarding like the Champions League and Europa League starting back up and stuff. So they're getting a bit scared now about like double game weeks and players may be rested because they're in the Champions League and stuff. So you then get the kind of polar opposite view where some people like to play their chips early because, like, for that reason. Where's your head at with that? Or is it just a case of trying to attack the best fixtures and doubles and stuff? Adam, what do you reckon?
I want to say that's why I played my chips early, but I kind of wasted my free hit when Villa and Newcastle had that blank early on the season. So I wish I still had it. But yeah, no, like I definitely would just play the fixtures. That's what I've been doing most of the season.
Okay. And what about yourself, Texan? Is that similar to you?
Yeah, I think just because, especially since the Premier League's very close this season, I think that most of the top teams can't really afford to bench their star players. So I wouldn't really overly worry about it too much.
Right. Okay.
Just like last season, Liverpool had such a high lead, then I guess you can kind of be concerned because maybe they benched their players in the Premier League because they were focused on the Champions League. They kind of already had it in the bag. But I think this season, all the teams are really close. They can't really afford to bench too many players.
Okay. No, thank you very much for that. Bruno, do you want to hit back into the Twitter sphere?
Yeah, let me just see. I can't remember if there's too many more questions in
no,
the
I think
Twitter
there's just
sphere. So we've got Yeah, first we've got a question from Khalil
sorry,
Benuda, who says, best 3 strikers to own for the rest of the season. What do you think, Adam?
Kane number 1 for sure. And then I would probably go with Bamford and DCL or Antonio. I'd say DCL. Be my top 3.
And yourself, Texan?
Yeah, quite similar. I would probably go Kane, DCL, and I kind of like Vardy, but it would be expensive. So I don't know if I can do all 3.
Why Kane? Question to both of you. Why Kane? He's so expensive, and there's so many budget options.
For me, I just think the form. I think with his new role, playing kind of almost center attacking mid, he's got much more like he's doing all kinds of things now. I think he's got the doubles coming up. Like you look at his fixtures, none of them really scare you. Yeah. I mean, after Man City, he's not really got any worrying.
He's got no big sides.
Yeah.
Apart from United, that's it.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you want to dip back into the chat? Because there's a really interesting one.
Go for it, Matt.
Go on.
Tony's got a dilemma, boys.
Oh dear.
He's got a Gundo dilemma. But who would you take out to get Gundo in for his double? Grealish, Son, or Rafinha? We'll go with Texan first. That's a hard one, right?
Read the end bit to the question. It's quite important there, Matt. So if he sold Rafinha, he would get him back again next week.
All right, yeah.
I would do that then because because you would want Rafinha for the double next week. So I think if you sold Gundo for Rafinha and then got Rafinha back, I think that would be the best play.
Right, yeah. Aye, so you would get rid of Rafinha to bring in Gundogan, but then just swap him back for the Leeds double.
Yep.
Yeah. What
about you?
Sorry, Adam.
Sorry, my connection is a bit shitty.
That's all right.
I'd lean towards that, but I'd also say if it means taking an extra hit the next week to bring Rafinha back, I'd be tempted to take out Son instead because he's playing City.
I think that's the move I'm going to make in a couple of weeks.
I completely agree.
It depends, though. It depends. Spurs fixtures the next 1 or 2 aren't great.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm probably going to do, lads. I think I'm going to swap Rashford for Son in a couple of weeks.
That's my plan for 26.
Don't make out like you got a plan, Llama. You just wing it like the rest of us.
It's a Celtic thing. Adam and I are on the same wavelength here. I know
that's it. Yeah.
I know, Buna, that we've got another question there from Escapades, but just with looking at time and stuff like that, are you guys okay with me bringing up your current teams and stuff like that to talk us in the chat through them whilst we kind of go through the final few questions and stuff?
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure first because I didn't want. Do you know what I mean? These are that highly ranked that I don't want us being the cause of any mess ups or anything. So, Buna, I don't know if you want to ask the last one. I think it's from Escapades. I think it is. And I'll bring the teams up whilst the boys are answering it.
So Escapades asks, with the return of premium assets like Kane, Vardy, and soon KDB, do we still need a strong bench and have a headache, or is it time for Brewster and Burke? Lots of instances of managers being punished for benching players who ideally they wouldn't. What do you think about that, Adam?
Yeah, I kind of would lean towards having a weaker bench. I could start the season. I had pretty much a bottom of the range bench, and I never had any benching headaches. But after I wildcarded in 18 to bench boost, I've had a headache every week, and I think I've benched like 40 points in the last 4 weeks. So, yeah, pretty bad.
Aye, that's a bit of a sore one.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Texan?
Normally I think, you could probably go back to having a weaker bench, but I mean, there's still a pandemic going on. So I think that, like for me, I tried to have a full playing bench minus the goalkeeper the entire season, just in case, you know, you could always have a cancellation last minute on a game. We've had it happen a couple of times already. So I think just having that kind of 1 or 2 players on the bench as a kind of like a safety net, I think is just a good idea for this season specifically.
Yeah. No, I get that.
We've also got an interesting question from Tolu in the chat saying, what's the best transfer you've ever made and why? Adam.
Ooh.
Best transfer I've ever made. God.
Jeez. Like a He-Man transfer.
I think it was. If I was talking about this season, I transferred out Kane and Son just as they stopped doing well. I think it was game week 8 or 9. And I brought in De Bruyne and Vardy. And that worked out pretty well. For me, that was just as De Bruyne started scoring.
Love that.
So that was a good one.
That's kind of like, Buna, you know the question that you asked Ola? Like, I suppose as well, as a kind of lead on from that for the two of you. What was it again, Buna? It's along the lines of, how long do you keep a player for?
Yeah. So my question was, like, what metric, like, how do you base when it is the right time to get rid of a player? So Ola says, you know, he likes to remain patient with players. But what if you keep patient with them for 4 or 5 weeks and they continue to blank? At what stage do you then think, okay, now's the right time to get rid of them? Texan, I'll ask you that question first.
I think it kind of depends on how much money the asset cost.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, like, if I've got someone like a De Bruyne or a Kane, and you know they've gone 2 or 3 or 4 weeks without scoring, then I think I would kind of move on. But you know, if it's someone like a Suchek or a Grealish or something like that, I think that you kind of just have them. You're not really expecting too much from them, so I don't really think that moving on from them is a great idea unless you don't have any other transfers to make.
Would you say it's because there's more, more options at those higher price points, players that are probably likely to do well in comparison to those cheaper priced? Would you say?
Yeah, that, and I also think that if you're spending that much, you're spending for them to score, and you could even drop that expensive player for 2 mid-price players and probably get more from them if that premium asset isn't doing anything. So I think that the premium assets have less of a leash for me.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. We have a Texan team in front of us. So for the benefit of those that may be listening back, or at the moment they're live with us but they're in the middle of doing their dishes or the hoovering or whatever, Texans team for the current game week, bearing in mind that we still have a game to go ahead this evening, which Buna hopefully is going to get the teams for us literally any second now. But you've went out this week...
Nino, we got the team news, boys. So we have got
Alright, okay.
Melier in goal, a back four of Ayling, Strick, Cooper and Alioski, midfield of Phillips, Dallas, Harrison and Click with Rafinha and Bamford, my boys. Let's go. And I will bring up the Crystal Palace lineup, although nobody gives a shit unless you own Eze. Let's be honest, no one really cares. But Crystal Palace lineup is as follows. We've got Gaeta, Klein, Cahill. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, bloody hell. This isn't good. We've got Gaeta, Klein, Cahill, Dan. Mitchell is back. Milivojevic, Riedewald, Ayew, Eze, PVA playing further forward, and Mateta, the new striker as well.
Oh, well, there you go, Adam and Texan. You have heard it here firsthand. What's your initial thoughts on that, Texan?
I mean, the Leeds lineup's pretty much as expected.
Yeah.
The Crystal Palace lineup interests me. I'd be interested to see how Mateta plays.
Okay, yeah.
He could be interesting because there's no Zaha right now, so that could, when Zaha comes back, that could improve his performance even more possibly.
They've still got quite a long span of decent fixtures, haven't they?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
PVA really stands out to me, playing further up front. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
That'd be
yourself, Adam?
Yeah, I think PVA obviously, and then if Mitchell keeps his place with PVA in the team, then that brings Mitchell back into the equation for a good bench option.
Definite.
Or even for someone to play. I was hoping the Leeds boys would somehow get sick or something, but no, that obviously hasn't happened.
Or typically what happens in Britain, as soon as there's a hint of snow, everything stops. So you could have maybe edged your bets on the fact that the game wasn't going to go ahead. There's too much snow.
Yeah.
So Texan, we're on your team just now, mate. I think at the moment I'm right in saying you're on 58 points with Bamford still to play. Really good game week so far, but for those listening, it's Martinez in goal on 9, Kufal on 6, Azzi sitting there with 2, Cancelo with 2, 4 across the midfield, Maddison on 2, Grealish 2, good Bruno captain there on 14 points, and Salah on 7, and up front you've got Antonio 2, Bamford, as we know, still to play this evening, and someone that played Calvert-Lewin for a change and bagging the 12 points. So you'll be chuffed about that one. And then just what you were saying there about your bench, sitting there with Soucek on the bench, Diaz and Digne. So pretty all-round solid team you've got sat there. So hopefully Bamford obviously does something for you this evening. Is that the kind? Are you quite? I take it you're happy with your team going forward, or do you want to reveal? You don't need to reveal anything to us, obviously, or if you want to let us know where your head's at for the kind of up and coming double.
So I brought as Blaqueta in this week, and it kind of disappointed. I wish I would have gone with Justin, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Like I said, I'm probably gonna swap Soucek for Gundogan, I think.
Okay.
And then I'm undecided if I want to get Pope. I haven't decided yet.
Interesting. Okay. No, thank you very much for that. So happy with your team, and everything's all looking hunky dory. Matt, do you want to ask the lads a question or a couple of questions out the chat, and we'll flick over and bring up Adam's team?
Kind of relates to the teams per se as well. Nihal with another good question. Guys, what do you think? Is it time to move away from the City defence to the attack with the higher ceilings coming in? We'll go to Texan first. You still happy with a double defence, or?
I think that when I wildcard in 25, I'll probably just stick with Diaz.
Okay.
But if you didn't have a wildcard, I don't think having double City defence is the worst idea. Just because they're going to have a lot of doubles, and even though Liverpool scored the other day, it was kind of a shitty penalty, so I wouldn't be concerned.
Did you see the dive for that, Texan? Oh my god!
I saw the meme train you posted as well.
Did you like that?
I did like it. It was very good. But yeah, I wouldn't be overly concerned about the City double up defense. Obviously, if you have a triple, I'd probably definitely move off that, but. Yeah, I think that definitely clean sheets are definitely still in store. I don't really see them conceding to many teams.
They do seem to be locked up a bit better, I would say, boys at the back. I think, especially with Diaz and the way he hauled that player for the free kick just by the scruff of the neck. That kind of shows you the standard of the defence now. Pretty solid, I would say.
Do you mean the way he dragged Zinchenko across the floor?
Yeah, just
brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, just dragged him. I don't want you there, I want you up here. And if that's the way he demands his defence, then yeah, like you say, I think there could still be clean sheets there for City. What
Did you see Stone's face when they done that as well? So, have you seen the pictures, the still images? Stone's like, what the fuck are you doing?
What about yourself, Adam? Are you okay? Well, I mean, at the moment, let's have a quick check actually.
Yeah, I've got double City at the moment, double City defence. I still think it's a good option. Like, even with a few tougher fixtures, they just look so solid. Especially Diaz. I don't think he's any risk of getting rotated.
No.
I'll be a bit worried about Stones. I know he's probably still their next choice, but I feel like he'll miss a game or two in the next few. Yeah. Getting rotated with Laporte maybe.
So we've got your team in front of us then, so it's probably a good time to kind of talk our way through it. No one out tonight for yourself, so I think, is that your the game week's done?
Yeah, I'm alright.
So De Gea in goals on the 1 point. 3-5-2, my favourite formation. Kufal there on 6, Dyer on 0, me on 1, Fernandes 7, Grealish 2, Rashford captain with the 10 points, Salah 7 points, Gundogan 13 points, Wilson on 1, Antonio on 2. But unfortunately, like me, you've got Calvert-Lewin's 12 points sat staring at you, unfortunately, on the bench. But again, it is what it is. But then going back to that question, you're sitting there with a double defence. So I take it like what you were saying, Adam, you're quite happy with the triple up and still having 2 in defence?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think they just look so solid. I think they can get a clean sheet any game. If I had the funds, I'd be tempted to go for Sterling along with Gundogan in midfield, but he's quite expensive, so at the moment I'm going to stay away.
Right, okay. And we were talking earlier there about Spurs assets and the kind of doubles that they've got coming in. And I know, Texan, you were talking about trying to maybe get Kane. Is that something that you're thinking about as well, Adam, or is it an easy move, maybe Rashford?
I have neither of the boys at the moment.
Yeah.
Rashford to Son is definitely my plan in 26 for the double.
Yep.
But I'm not sure about Kane. I'm going to have to see. I might have to drop one of the big boys in midfield, maybe Salah, if I'm going to get Kane. So I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it or not.
Yeah. But you're quite happy and content with your team, though, going forward? I mean,
it seems pretty set up for the next few weeks.
I was going to say that. You've got a full team playing there, so all looks pretty decent. Good stuff. Happy.
Lama, a quick shout out to FPL_Foxtrot, who just tweeted us saying, "Great podcast, fellas. Been watching for the past 45 minutes. 1K subs soon come."
Wow, yeah. No, thank you very much for that, folks. As you know, we've been doing this now for a few months. Weekly interviews with all kind of creators, and Buna over the last couple of weeks has done really good work getting, as these guys are in front of us, but real top FPL managers on the show alongside us. So it's thanks to Buna that we've been able to do these. And if you're enjoying them, this is the kind of shit that we get up to on a week-to-week basis. So yeah, yous are all welcome. The lounge doors are always open. Don't be a stranger and all that jazz. Yeah, I think there's an injection emoji or something, Buna, that you've slapped up onto the screen. You just need to click that and that's you. You'll get reminded about it. Polish the bell, whatever it is you're meant to do. But no, so we've got Adam's team there, Texan's team, both pretty solid and both looking decent, I would say, for the kind of future game weeks. What else is happening in the chat, Matt?
We've got an interesting one from Escapades, and it's more prone to do about a United fan. But we'll put it to Texan as well. And it's Martial, worth a hold for West Brom game, considering he was rested? Or just to get rid?
I'm going to say get rid. I wouldn't be too confident of him starting. I think Cavani probably first choice now.
Yeah, I would agree.
And he's quite expensive as well. He's 8 point something, isn't he?
Is he really that expensive?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
No, he's dear, and he still looks like he's squinting reading a chip shop menu. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be putting
It's strange though. I read a stat the other day saying, I think it was strikers in the last 7 or 8 weeks, and Martial was, I think, up like the top of all of them.
What?
Yeah, I think it was last maybe 6 weeks.
You sure you read that?
Which kind of blew my mind.
It wasn't the top of the shittest ones.
That's what I was thinking. No, I think he was top scorer. Yeah.
Wow, I would not have went for that. I'll be honest.
Not at all.
Yeah, like Nihal's saying there, Martial just always looks confused. He does. Looks like he's forgot to.
He looks a bit dim.
Yeah, he looks like he's forgot to lock his front door or something. I know I've forgot something, but I don't know what it is. What about yourself, Texan? Is Martial someone that you're scrambling to get into your team?
No, I just think there's 5 to 6 cheaper options that are performing much better. You know, you got Watkins, DCL, Bamford, Antonio. Any of those I would prefer, and they're much cheaper.
100%.
Definitely. Aye, Cavani as well, Adam, as you were saying, he's just looking brilliant, I would say. And
he's looking good.
Yeah, and I think it's just, if I was getting anyone in for that position, it would be him. But I think similar to maybe yourself, Adam, I decided Rashford was the kind of option to go for, I suppose. We shall see. Hopefully over the next 2 weeks,
Hopefully.
Adam, we'll get loads of points.
Let's hope, Lama.
I think we've got one final one, because I'm conscious of bloody hell, 7:15. See, time flies, boys, when we're just enjoying ourselves chatting about FPL, Sir Cartier, the guy that's in the chat that makes the watches. Am I crazy, boys, for selling Salah this week and not getting him back before game week 27? So that's interesting, because the two of you were talking there about when Buna was asking about keeping a hold of a player. We both know that Salah, or we all know, Salah's not been performing great, but I don't think many of us, any of us three, got rid of him at all. So what would you think from Sir Cartier, Texan? Is he crazy?
I got rid of him.
Yeah, but you're Booner. You are crazy.
True.
What about yourself, Texan? Is he crazy for selling Salah this week and not getting him back before 27? What do you think?
I don't think he's crazy about selling him, but I would want him back for 26.
Okay.
Just because he's going to probably have a double, and it's going to include Sheffield United as one of those games.
Yep. Nice.
So I think that you would want him for that, but I'm not opposed to selling him for like a Sterling for this next couple of weeks or something like that. I think that's not a bad decision, but I would want him back for the double.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And what about yourself, Adam? Is Sir Cartier, is he off his head?
I wouldn't sell him right now anyway. I've bought and sold Salah myself a few times this year, but at the moment I think I'd keep hold.
Yeah, I think I think Salah's just got this kind of thing where we know what he's like season on season. So yeah, he might go a few weeks where he doesn't do very much, but it's Salah. He can do that thing that he did where he came off the bench with 20 minutes to go and still managed to get 2 goals and an assist or whatever it was.
Or what he did against City and fall over like a sack of shit and get a pen.
Yeah. So what do you want to do, Buna? Do you want to take that one last question there for Tom and then you can wrap things up, pal?
Mm-hmm. Buna, do you want to ask it?
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute. Apologies. Yeah, so question from Tom, aka Foxtrot on Twitter, saying, just wondering what you boys would do here. Hope in for Forster and bench Martinez whilst playing Son or Bamford, or get in me and play Martinez and bench Son or Bamford. Yeah, well, Tom, basically, you just fucked with my head then. I don't know what you're asking, to be honest with you, mate. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I'm a little bit confused. But all I see is
Pope in for Forster
and bench
and then play
Martinez,
him. Yeah.
or get in me, play Martinez and bench Son or Bamford.
I would do Pope in for Foster because
Yeah.
then you've got the double off per Pope and Martinez, which both have good game weeks going forward.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I'd
I
do.
don't know why you
go
go
with
with
that.
Son or Bamford.
No, I don't either.
Think I'd probably bench Son against City.
Yeah.
Yep, there is that.
He has got the tendency to score against them, though. I don't think that's wise. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would break that one down, Tom, and just look at the game weeks ahead of yourself and see and go from there. But I think Pope's a good shout, I would definitely say. And the Son Bamford thing, I think you've got to be playing the kind of players, but as was said there, possibly take them out for the City game. Interesting stuff. Well, on behalf of you boys and girls in the chat, on behalf of young Matthew, and on behalf of Mr. Inject himself, Texan and Adam, it's been an absolute joy having you in the studio alongside us this evening. Hopefully you've both enjoyed yourselves.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. Thanks again for you guys inviting me.
Not a problem.
Yeah, it was good fun, lads. Good to chat to you.
Good
No,
stuff.
we appreciate it, guys.
And don't forget, whatever you win, and even if you don't, you still got to come back at the end of the season and let us know how you got on.
Yeah, that's not
Appreciate
a
it.
question, guys. We're just telling you, you've got to do it.
I think what we're aiming to try and do, because well, I don't know, I don't know if Buna's looking to get anyone else in, but I think what a good plan, or what we were hoping to try and do, was get, like, say, you two, Safar, you know, like, and like Ola, etc.
Paddy, Ola, all together.
all
I think that'd be
together,
brilliant.
and we'll just have one big podcast. So that would be like potentially top 50-ish, because that's where you boys are going to finish, isn't it?
What are you on about? It's going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly. Even better. Yes, we'll have 1 to 5 sat in the studio. So I know that you guys were saying earlier, I know, Texan, you've been on Twitter a little bit longer, and Adam, you've only been on for a month. But just in case none of the guys or girls in the chat know where to find you, Texan, do you want to just let everyone know where they can keep interacting with you and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. It's just at FPL Texan, all one word.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Texan. And yourself, Adam?
Yeah, so my Twitter handle is FPL_Adam.
Excellent. So there you go, boys and girls. If you want to continue, and please do follow FPL Texan and, of course, Adam. and you can follow their journey the same as what us three will be doing. But yeah, again, just to say thanks very much to you both for joining us this evening. But now, you wanting to just wrap things up, pal?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, boys. Really, really appreciate you both joining. I quite like the dynamic of having two people on the stream. I think it's quite interesting. But we couldn't be doing what we're doing without the support of all of you guys that are listening in. So thank you for the continued support and you know, providing us with the content in the form of your questions. If you are new to the channel, we're a weekly podcast. We podcast with live podcast every Thursday, and then we usually have a Sunday supplement, another live stream where we talk about the week's action so far and paper talk. So if you are interested and you've liked what you've heard today, please do consider hitting that like button, but more importantly, subscribing and turning on those notifications. We're currently only 3 subscribers away from 700. So if you can help us get there before the end of this stream, absolutely brilliant. Otherwise, we wish you all the best for game week 24, and we will catch you on Thursday, guys. Take care.
Nice one. Take care, folks. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Better sounds no one ever heard. I wish I had a better voice to sing some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that was new. I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. I was told when I get older all my views would shrink, but now I'm insecure and I care what people think. Very nice and